When the movie opens, we had to sell it to the audience with a soundscape that we're stuck in a traffic jam in Los Angeles. Besides treating the music to make it sound like they're coming off the cars, also kind of like whenever possible, if you see them on screen, I recorded some Foley like tapping on the steering wheel or some other car idlings that would help tie together with the music. And together, they built into this cacophony of sounds and music, and through it out comes the traffic song.
In some ways, this sequence should have been very easy to work on as an editor because it was very well planned out. Damien and Lena Sandgren and his whole crew painstakingly designed this to work in a very specific way. When we first put it together, it worked mechanically, but emotionally it didn't really work. It really felt like it was out of left field, and this musical number felt like it was completely from another movie. It didn't feel like it was from our movie. For that reason and for a couple other reasons, we actually cut this scene out and left it on the cutting room floor for a while.
I hear them every day. We'll be those in the canyons that'll never fade away. The ballads in the barrooms, that's right, those who came before. They say we gotta want it more. So I bang on every door.
Steve, even though they were singing to playback, you had the dancers mic'd, some of them, right? Because I know when they open the car, they open the back of the truck and the band is in there. Yeah. There was some shouts, and I used those.
We always tried to record a track of something. On this specifically, it was kind of too hot, and since they were going to be doing flips and things, we didn't put it on any of the actors in this sequence. The rest of the film, they were mic'd anytime they sang, even if it was just for a guide track.
So when the truck opens, that shouting wasn't from that spot?
No. So when the truck opens, we had our boom on set.
Oh, good. Yeah, because it was really good and useful.
And I used the flamingo lady going.
Oh, yeah. I like the sound effect that you did of her.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Of her fan. Do you remember, Justin, on the day we filmed that, the door broke?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's actually, because my equipment, my setup is right in front of that blue truck for the whole sequence. And the door broke, the springs broke on it, and they actually rigged it with the effects guys pulled it.
From the other side of, they were near the hood of the truck, pulling.
From the other side.
Yeah, they had to drill through the truck, rig up a wire through it, and that's the door is heavy, and it just has to look effortless. So.
Yeah,
and it's basically made up of 4 interlocking pieces. Well, actually more, but the original design was to have 4 long choreographed shots that would join together at very specific stitch points. Some of these stitches happen on pans, on whip pans, but the big picture version of this is that the number used to start by having a wide shot that moves down and we meet our movie stars. The camera starts moving down in Ryan Gosling's car and he's listening to his music on a tape deck. Then the camera continues to pan and we pan over to Mia's car and Emma Stone is rehearsing lines. And then it pans over to a column of cars where people are singing in their cars. Then we go into the musical number. Then, after everyone slams their doors in unison in this wide shot, we cut and we're back to Mia and Sebastian. That's the original order, and that just didn't work because it felt very bizarre to be introduced to our main characters and then move away from them to these secondary characters. What we ended up doing is we rejiggered the pieces so that we start with the secondary characters, we start big. And then after the number is done, after all of them jump on the cars and they slam the doors in unison, then we actually transition, with the help of visual effects, we actually transition to the first piece. So what you're seeing in the movie is you're seeing the last piece of the puzzle stitched together to the first, what was the first piece of the puzzle, where we move closer in on our stars. So there was a way that thematically and emotionally, we found that after we reordered it, it worked better by starting wide and then moving in closer to our characters. We put the title La La Land on that downbeat. That was also very important for us to do because that actually separated that music number from the rest of the film in a way that it almost became an overture for us. It became a teaser. And the fact that it's so different stylistically than the rest of the film became acceptable. After you have the title La La Land, then it's much easier emotionally to then transition to moving in closer on our characters. But the other thing is that when you don't have a musical number like this at the beginning, it meant that the first time people start to sing is really with the roommates, which is 15 or 20 minutes into the movie. And that's way too late to spring that on an audience.
I did a little over 1,900 piano demos on the movie.
Wow.
At the beginning, just finding the melodies.
Wow.
Those aren't all different melodies because I get on something, number 35. Damien's like, oh, I love that, and then I go down that road for a while, and then we throw it out and I move on. So, but we go down, we explore a lot of different melodies. There were a lot of pieces of material and a lot of songs that we just went back to the drawing board. So we threw out the song we had, and I just went back to the piano and started looking for something better. And it was, piano demo after piano demo until I came up with this idea.
In somebody's eyes, to light up the skies, to open the world and send it reeling. A voice that says I'll be here and you'll be alright.
Another Day of Sun was called Traffic amongst the crew.
Yeah.
Someone in the crowd was called Roommates amongst the
There
crew.
you
We had all these
Yes.
titles.
The roommate song.
So
Yeah.
Audition is
Audition, The
Dream?
Fools Who Dream.
The Fools Who Dream.
Yeah.
That was the first one I heard, and it just gave me goosebumps.
Thank
I
you.
just fell in love with the song immediately.
And what you may not have seen in post-production wise is the desk that the two people are sitting at actually splits in half to let the camera go through. And so that was part of the noise. It splits in half, goes around her, comes back, and then comes back together while
That's
she's
amazing.
singing.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a quiet process.
It was,
you
Yeah,
no,
know.
all
it's so
the
funny, but
creaks.
that was
Yeah.
the first thing that you guys sent me to work on, and and I heard that noise, and I had no idea what it was, and I'm like, I have to get this noise out of here. But it was great. I mean, you recorded it so well, and so I just, by going through all the takes, I was able to find little bits that could replace the noisy part,
Yeah.
so
And
it
I
worked.
think to Damien's credit as well, we shot her doing an entire take just in a close-up. Which never had the camera move, never moved the
That's
table
probably
across.
what
And my guess is we had shot that with the thought, look, could piece it in with that.
That was a great idea.
Here's to the ones who dream, foolish as they may seem. Here's to the hearts that ache. Here's to the mess we make.
We were nervous, like, is Emma going to want to do this? And then she brought it up without being even told. She was like, guys, I think it would be great if we record this live. And we were like, that's exactly what we were thinking, because you capture the intimacy, and you capture, every smack of the lips. And all of that's captured, and it's authentic.
Yeah.
And she was able to, I was in the other room playing piano as she sang it, and I was letting her lead it. And it allowed her to just take the space she needed to act it and to drive the tempo of it, and to just be really, to have a real, genuine, emotional performance that wasn't boxed in by any pre-record that we may have recorded months earlier.
Here's to the ones who dream, foolish as they may seem.
I remember just being kind of out of breath, just watching her performance, because it was such, every performance was just such a knockout performance of that song, and she got so emotional, and we hadn't seen the song that way. We'd been rehearsing it in the studio, just for the technical aspects of it, learning the notes, but when we were rehearsing it, she was kind of saving herself for the day. She wasn't getting as emotional with it. She wasn't really acting it the way she did. She was kind of waiting to get in front of the camera to do that. So it was really kind of a new experience seeing the song perform that way, and it was incredible.
And here's to the fools who dream, crazy as they may seem. Here's to the hearts that break. Here's to the mess we make.
I remember after each take going over to Video Village, where all the producers were, and everybody was just sort of speechless.
I found editing this musical to be very challenging. I mean, you're always cutting for some type of emotional reason. And all those factors you take into consideration in order to make a cut. Now, in this case, you're also taking into consideration the music. You're taking into consideration, where does this picture cut hit in the music? Damien's a perfectionist, especially when it comes to where the music hits in the picture, where the music hits on a dissolve or a cut. He's very precise. He's going for a certain type of precision. So that took a long time to get right. It was, great working with Justin Hurwitz, our composer, because sometimes he could help us get out of certain editorial jams, because he could rework a little piece of music in order to fit. I mean, there's a limit to what he could do before something maybe sounded wrong musically, but we could certainly hold each other's hands and kind of collaborate. And he could do something that could help solve a story issue. And I worked with Justin Hurwitz in a way that I've never worked with a composer before. It was incredible. He had a room adjoining my editing room, and so when Damien and I would be working, we could just get up and, knock on his door. Actually, what we ended up doing is more like something out of a TV sitcom. We didn't knock, we just opened the door and sort of barged in, and we could say, Justin, can you come take a look at the sequence? We need you to, revise something here or fix something. And he could do it, or at least he could do something that would get us in the right direction, and then I could work on the picture to sort of meet him halfway. But that was an amazing process, a process very alive and very electric that the three of us had while we were cutting the picture. And it's a process I've never experienced before, but it was amazing for the movie.
It definitely made it an incredible experience to come to set every day, just have all the beautiful music and the performances. You work on movies and TV shows all the time where you get to see great performances all the time, but there was definitely something special about each time we got to do a big music number, a big dance number. You could just tell it was going to be something incredible, and that's, that's because of your music.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was a joy to come to work every day for that.